Aloha kakahea, everyone. This is Mirakle Weihua Lokahi King. I'm here on this really sweet, nourishing, post-rainy, sunny, blessed day at Medicine Lake. I'm actually here at Little Medicine, which is such a sweet atmosphere, and there's so much nourishment happening right now. The ground is wet. All the life is springing back over this super dry summer that we've been in. So yeah, just been off grid for the last few days, just really diving deep beyond the technocratic technology, really saturating into this like full-on bliss field here in the unified field native lands of where these beautiful volcanic lakes are located here in northeast of Mount Shasta. I really felt called to share this communiversity portal transmission today entitled For the Epigenetic Sound of Miraculous Silence. For truly we are living in incredible, miraculous times. The paradox of duality is upon us, and yet at the same time, we can go out of time into infinite space, especially in nature. Nature is a miracle. And we count the blessings and the appreciation of nature and all the miracles that nature brings us when we choose to show up for the ground, for the earth, for the dirt, for the seeds, for the pine, the fir, the cedar, the tree spirits. So beautiful to be back here in the Pacific Northwest. So grateful. This truly is the birthplace of Communiversity, beloved Mount Shasta, California. And there's been so many completions. I'm sure you're feeling it. Everyone is completing. We are completing and transitioning, and so many of us don't know where we're going. And that's so beautiful, because then that allows the entire infinite cosmos to provide us a solution, to inspire us to trust and have faith in this unknowable, constant, imploding, expanding, contracting, and exploding sometimes rays of light. It's like visceral light that is super scintillating right now, when we can choose to just turn off the screens and choose to be in primordial nature. And for me, the science of epigenetics has obviously been something that I have been studying, and I have obviously become an example of an epigenetic miracle. And that is my role, that is my blueprint, that is my personal mission, presence to everyone I meet in the open source mystery school of life, especially for the last 6-7 years since I've fully become the Mirakle. And epigenetics is such a fascinating science, because it's basically the study of how an environment affects the gene. And in our genetic lineage, in our genetic genesis of primordial life, we see that in nature, things are always spiraling, always evolving, dying, composting, transforming, and giving birth to another seed that sprouts for new life. So it's a truly organized, chaotic, beautiful experience of learning to let go, so that as we surrender, we can create and co-create with existence again. And I really feel, being a visionary mystic, that epigenetics is basically translating what the mystics and the sages and the rishis and the lamas and all the very exalted saints and ones who have proclaimed their service to the planet and have mastered themselves, because they have shown time and time again for thousands of years since the original fall, I would say even hundreds of thousands of years at this point, this now, quote, term of the science of epigenetics. And yet epigenetics is finally breaking through into a unified field science. It is proving that the quantum reality that is our universe, that we are creating it every single breath, every inhale, every exhale, as an epigenetic miracle. And yet we have these in-between moments, these bardo states, that allow us to pulse the epigenetic wonderment of sound and the frequency and vibration of sound. So maybe you can hear it or not, but I have literally walked into a space alone at this lake with so many birds, so many chirping, so many birds singing. I just had a hummingbird flow around my head before I activated this video transmission. Earlier today on Medicine Lake, we had the red-tailed hawk, and then we saw a beautiful, large grandfather bald eagle. And so all these birds of the feather are flocking together right now. For we are demystifying the dark sciences, the sciences based on ignorance and confusion that keep us enslaved or chained to an allopathic medicine, to a cure for a disease type of medicine that is not allowing the autonomic nervous system to fully go online so that we can create our own pharmacology. We can create our own inner pharmacy. Because every single medicine that we choose to take in a pill or a tablet actually can be co-created through epigenetic frequencies and vibrations, through our inner mental rehearsal and with the direct use of specific sounds, the frequencies of sounds and vibrations. And this is the key point, because epigenetics is about how we can create a whole new way of health, wealth, energetic alignment, connection with others, through moving into the void that transcends the five sensory environment. And yet at the same time, in that transcendence, when we're able to hang out there enough in the spatial void, we can paint a very clear picture of what it is that we're needing in order to feel whole again. And epigenetics is about signaling the gene ahead of the environment. So most of us are in environments with people, many of us still wearing the masks, right? Many of us still concerned about illness and disease. Many of us concerned about not being contagious to others or receiving the contagion from others outside of ourselves, right? So there's all these mini separations that are still occurring in the citadels of the world, in the traveling around the world, whether it's car, trains, automobiles, plane flights. You see it all around you. You can feel viscerally this fear of separation. And then there's those of us who are choosing to move into demystification of what I was earlier saying about the dark science. And when we do that, we come into the unified field science. And I really truly believe that the unified field science is actually the cultural thematic that will multidimensionally bring us together as one. It will move us beyond the dark sciences, the dark commerce, and the dark religions into a unified field spirit based on the science of epigenetics. And why is that? Because every single one of us, I would say a good percentage of us, maybe 90 to 99% of us around the world, who, those of you who are listening to this video, you've all gone through basic science from all the way from grade school to intermediate school to then high school in the K through 12 educational system. We all know basic biology. We have all had to learn and understand and integrate these basic sciences. This is a languaging. This is a multicultural, planetary-wide system of reference, system of exchange. And even though maybe some of us don't really, remember everything about the science or remember what we learned in Basic Biology 101, we still have it inside of our consciousness of understanding it. And so when we choose to embrace epigenetics, this all of a sudden becomes this cultural phenomenon that actually really signifies a unified glue, so to speak, a certain type of sensory language that allows us to relate to each other, to understand that we can go beyond our senses and gently and gracefully surrender through meditation practices into this concept of the void. And I know some of us are now, through many luminaries and doctors and inspiring biohackers, so to speak, are really talking about epigenetics. This is not a new thing now. It's ubiquitous. Yet, what I really am desiring to transmit to you today is that as we embrace the cultural unified science of epigenetics today, we can actually merge it into the different tool sets that allow us to expand epigenetics so that we can take responsibility for our health, that we can become our own doctor, we can become our own healer, we can become our own agent for alchemical change within and then without to everyone else around us. Because if we can create an environment of health and harmony and joy and gratitude and appreciation and prosperity and peace and affluence that comes from an overflowing sense of freedom, liberation, abundance, which is really just another word for to be able to have the freedom to be and do what I want, wherever, however, in whichever way I choose. And this is the destiny for all 8 billion humans of us. Now, those of us who are on the leading edge of this wave right now, that's really going back and forth in the great game of duality, this human game of duality that's happening in the matrix of our world, we can choose to turn the environment off that we're currently in. Of course, many of us still use screens in order to create our abundance. But it's also really important for us to turn off the screen and to absolutely go off grid, meaning put the phone in airplane mode, shut down all your screens, go into a space where you can do this inner work in nature. And you are no longer being swayed emotionally. You're no longer being triggered or conditioned to have these neurological responses to these seemingly sort of, for lack of a better way to describe it, this dumb and dumber political, economic, warmongering narrative that is no longer serving the heart of hearts of our sacred crystal Christ consciousness. And it is through the epigenetics of sound that we can turn off all of these players who are now shouting at the tops of their mountains on the world stage because they're losing their power. They're losing their influence because more and more people across this beautiful planet in every country and every culture are choosing to turn it off. They're choosing to turn the tell-lie smartphone vision off. It used to be the tell-lie vision in the 80s, right? And we used to turn that off. Now everyone's carrying their portable tell-lie smartphone vision. So what we have to do is just turn it off. Put it away. Can you do that? For an hour? For half a day? For one 24-hour day? For 2 days? For 3 days? For a week? For a month? Maybe for a year for some of you who are totally off-grid. I salute you if you've chosen that. But it's really important for us to no longer focus on those that are wanting to trigger us on screen and those that are being triggered off screen because they're staring at the screen and getting all the information that's pretty much all false, pretty much all lies, because we don't know what's truth anymore. Everything is being psyoped, everything is being deep faked now. When we choose to turn it off and manage our time on the screens, then all of a sudden we can come in to the natural intelligence, focus on the NI of infinite consciousness, which is in nature. Not just hear, but really listen to the sound of miraculous silence. And it is in this state in nature where when we can get into a meditative state, whether it's an open eye meditation or a closed eye to go into the void, that we can actually really use this loving, compassionate power of the spiral within nature to birth what it is that we truly desire for ourselves, for our beloveds, for our children, for our families. This is where the works of Anastasia, the inspiration for Vladimir Megre in the 10 books of how to build your own kingdom in nature, to become part of the miracle of planet Earth and return back to the source of why we incarnated on this beautiful planet. And the sound in that silence will then inspire us to use our voice to breathe in the frequencies and the vibrations of the harmonics, to pick up the piano, or to learn the violin, or to play the flute. Or you can even start to pick up a didgeridoo, like what I played to intro this video, and learn the didgeridoo, learn how to circular breathe. These are things that at some point I'm going to be offering workshops on. Deep throat chanting, overtones, and learning how to circular breathe and drone the didgeridoo. So let me know in the likes or comments if you want me to do more of those, or to immerse ourselves in Tibetan bowls or crystal bowls, to allow us to remember that there are tools that can expand the connection to our signature sound. And this is something I've been teaching for almost 20 years is the vocal harmonic empowerment, which is the power of sound coupled with the understanding of epigenetics, immersing ourselves in the void for enough time to be able to use the frequency and vibrations of sound to co-create miracles with existence. Now, all of us are suffering. All of us are hurting right now. All of us are working on something that is either falling apart, having to be nurtured as it falls apart, or nourished in its beginning stages because it's not really moving, whether it's the seed of a new project, whether it's a fledgling business, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's, existing relationship that's going through a lot of wobble, whether it's dealing with a lot of folks dropping the body right now and passing on. We're moving through this energetic timeline where resilience is an emotional intelligence baseline. This is why it is so important for us to get into the miraculous silence, post-sound, post-union. And once again, this is what Kamu means. It is the ancient Hawaiian word for the great silence after union. There is that still point after co-creating and merging and marrying and making love with the other. There is this infinite post-coitus love, and it is the most powerful magnetic nesting field in the universe for both the female and the male. And it doesn't matter if you're in a human body, it's all hominoid bodies. And I would say all species of sentient beings that merge two different forms together to create a third form. So when we choose to really understand and integrate this transmission, we are in a really massive crossroads right now. It's almost like every single nanosecond counts. And when we get to the singular point of the crossroads within ourselves and within every moment all around us, we begin to really embody what it means to be the epigenetic sound of miraculous silence. And it is through the celestial, deep, harmonic under and overtones that create this symphony of consciousness that allows us every day to ride on a vibrational frequency in between what is right and what is wrong. As Rumi has said, there is a field, and that field is the unified field, and I will meet you there every single breath. Inhaling, exhaling. So I invite you right now with me in this very moment. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're with a lot of people, then just hum it inside your body. But I invite you right now to close your eyes, take a deep breath, exhale completely. And we're just going to tone 3 sacred syllables that represent the trinitization of the epigenetic sound of miraculous silence. The first tone is Om. The second tone is Ma. And the third point that unites the Trinity is Home. So we're going to do this together 3 times. So go ahead and sit yourself up, vertically align your spine wherever you are. If you're sitting on a chair, if you're on the ground, if you're standing, just align your spine. And then take a deep inhale and chant with me. Om Ma Let's do it 2 more times. Take a deep inhale. Om Ma Om. And one final inhale. Om Ma Om. Feel the epigenetic sound of miraculous silence penetrating all your subatomic particles. Just breathe naturally for a few minutes. Just come in to this space of emptiness and awareness and back to homeostasis. And gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for receiving this gift of this transmission here on Communiversity Portal on this beautiful, gorgeous day, this crystalline, sacred heart day. I'm so grateful that I'm coming back to offering events specifically around the science of epigenetics and sound vibration. And I'm doing these in Mount Shasta and open to continuing this in other parts of the planet. If you feel called to host me, please get in touch with me, because it's time to merge the science with the mystic sounds together as one to create great manifestation of health, wealth, and expansion of consciousness in this time more than ever before. And may you receive this gift of the Om Ma Hom, this trinitization of these sacred symbols, to use this sound in your own epigenetic experiments with life. And I look forward to seeing some of you soon in the physical soon. And I wish you all the very best. Just remember, don't take anything or anyone too seriously. And because, nature is having the last cosmic laugh. And truly, we are in the divine comedy of the human matrix game right now on screen. And I look forward to the next Communiversity Portal transmission. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And so much love to all of you. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Mahalo Keakua.